today's video is going to be all about my kind of body transformation and my journey through health and fitness, because I think a lot of people find your Instagram account and they look at your pictures now and they're like, just kind of presume that you popped out the womb the way that you have, and in reality I've been through a proper journey with my body. It's been one hell of a journey. There's been many ups and many downs, so I'm going to start right back from the beginning. When I was younger, I was on kind of like every sports team that there was. I've always been a really active, fit and healthy child. I never cared about food, didn't give a crap about that. I used to eat the world, but when it came to like activity and my activity levels, I was always manic. And then when I got to age 16, I went to dance college, and I would say back then I was always quite like confident in myself and confident in my body. I did hit puberty very, very young. So when I was like 8, I had my first bleed, and then after that I started to hold a little bit more weight on my thighs than other girls in my age, just because of my estrogen levels. I started to grow boobs, so I was always a bit like, whoa, why is my body doing this, and like all my friends are just little twiglets running around. But I kind of come to terms with that when I went to high school and saw, like, you know, all different bodies. So when I was 16, I'd say I was pretty confident in my body, and I went to dance college, and I'd say it took about a year and a half of dance college for me to start to become quite hyper aware of my body. Now picture this: when you walk into a studio at college, you are surrounded by mirrors. Like every single wall is mirrors from the floor to the ceiling, and you are wearing very, very little. And for me, who I am naturally slim, but I'm quite muscular, so when it came to leotards and ballet tights, I was horrified at myself, and I started to kind of grow this hatred towards my legs. And I think that was because there was a lot of girls in the room, especially for ballet, who were naturally really tall, really skinny. We called them ballet bods, and I wasn't like that, and I'd always be like, why are my legs like this and theirs are so thin? So anyway, when I was 17 and I was going into my 3rd year of college, I was such a perfectionist, and I was always like, right, what can I do to have a perfect body? Because I feel like I was training really hard, my technique was good, my performance was good, but I was like, I just want to have a banging body. And over the summer, from 2nd year to 3rd year, I just started to run like 10k every day. Fuck knows how, because today I did 6.5k and it felt like hell. But yeah, I was doing 10k every day, all of my sit-ups, and of course I started to lose weight. And then I got Instagram, and I started to kind of get other people's diets, advice on there, something you should never do in your life. But I did it, and I started to then kind of look at my food. And at the time, my mum was making all of my food. And I was like, right, okay, for me to keep having this kind of like scale weight go down, what could I do? And so I started to just like half my meals, throw the other half in the bin when people walked out of the room, and then, yeah, that was it. And I obviously went back to 3rd year. My body had changed quite a bit. I've always had a mint body. I don't know why I ever felt like I had to change it, but I did. So yeah, I went back into 3rd year. I'd lost quite a bit of weight. My teachers were like, Vic, you look amazing. You don't need to lose any more weight. Like, you sound as you are. And in my head, I still hadn't reached that level of perfection yet. So I continued, and it down spiraled, and I was eventually diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. And I don't want to go too much into that today, because I will do another video on that next week with an eating disorder specialist, Laura Phelan. So I'm just kind of gonna skip over this. So I had the eating disorder. I had an eating disorder for 2 years. I was very, very malnourished. I was very underweight. I was in a very bad mental space, and a lot of that was because of issues that were going on in my life that I didn't realise, that I kind of come back and bit me and built up inside, and developed this eating disorder and depression. But I also was very uneducated. Now, I'm somebody who, if you tell me to do something, I'm going to ask you why. And I think because I didn't know how to live a healthy lifestyle, I didn't know how to eat to have a strong body, I didn't know how to exercise to have a strong body. So yeah, when I'd hit a healthy BMI, after my eating disorder, my dad, like me and my dad had a chat, and I was like, Dad, I'm an active person, I've always been active for my whole life, you can't expect me to never exercise ever again in my life. I need to do this properly, I need to have the correct education. And he then hired me a personal trainer, and this personal trainer was incredible. He really understood mindset. He kind of knew the place I'd come from, he knew where I wanted to go, and he introduced me to the weights area, which was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I was like, whoa, oh my god, I'm doing a squat. And because I was following people on Instagram then in like the fitness world, I was like, oh my god, I'm doing my first barbell squat. I was like, film me. So he educated me a lot. He sat me down and taught me about like protein, and taught me about carbs and fats, and how it's so important to have a well-rounded, balanced diet. And I think because I'd kind of started to achieve this like really strong body, I just became like really excited by it all. And then I became a personal trainer and kind of lost sight of myself because I was so focused on picking clients up. And I was like, right, I need to set myself a goal so that I will train, so that I will eat healthy. And I then hired a coach. Now, I first set out to do a photo shoot with this coach, and eventually, after a few weeks, that then turned into me wanting to do bikini competing. Now, bikini competing obviously involves a really strict training and nutrition regime. And you know, for my first, so I had a 12-week prep before my first comp, and I actually enjoyed it. And you know, people might disagree with this, but I think so many people are really curious about what will my body be like if I was totally shredded? What will my mental health be like if I was totally shredded? And sometimes I just think some people need to go through that, and you need to experience it. You need to get to that point. You need to realize, like, is this a good place? Is this a place where I want to be for the rest of my life? Or was it just great to set myself the challenge and get there? So I did my first comp, I won my first comp. I, at the time, was in, you know, very lean condition, but it wasn't unhealthy. It wasn't sustainable, but it wasn't massively unhealthy. But because I won that comp, it meant I then had to go through to another comp, which was like 6 months later. So I then had to prep for a total of 8 months, which meant I was very, very malnourished. My hair was falling out. I was very isolated because of my eating habits, and because of, you know, I was so selfish because I had to train so intense. It was a lot of weight training, and then some days I'd have to go back and do cardio. So yeah, I just ended up in this really bad headspace again, and I started to question if my eating disorder had come back. And I think now, like when I was in it, I started to realise that maybe I hadn't fully recovered from my eating disorder, and actually this was just kind of like a more controlled eating disorder. It was like a very disordered eating, like counting your food and weighing everything that you eat is not normal and it's not healthy. But I was like how do people eat then? Like, how do you just go into a shop and just eat something? So I finished competing, and I was like, obviously really panicking that I had to gain weight again. I had to get back to a healthy weight. And I was very lucky. I mean, kind of like every cloud. So at the time, my relationship fell apart, and in a very kind of horrible way. And I met Mike. And Mike, literally, because he is so confident and comfortable in his body, really inspired me to want to just love myself and feel really happy with who I am as well. So I started to just kind of like eat everything and anything and everything. And obviously, because I had restricted my food for so long, and I had been so underweight for so long, I ballooned. And when I say ballooned, I don't mean just gained weight. So when you've been so malnourished, you can swell. So I was really swollen, like everywhere was just watery and really swollen. Like my cheeks just were so kind of like thick, and I was just like, I'm not happy like this. But I also wasn't happy when I was teeny tiny. Like, what the fuck do I do? Also, because my training had been so intense, I completely lost my love for going to the gym. I didn't want to eat healthy. I guess I just kind of became rebellious. And yeah, it took me, so that was, I finished competing about 3.5 years ago, and it took me, there was about 6 months after that, and I was like, right, I need to kind of control my food again, back to square one. Like, what do I do? How am I eating? I was completely lost, so I got a coach again. And this time round, he just kind of gave me some guidelines on portion control. And then he also gave me my training program, so it got me into like a bit of a healthy pattern again. And I'd say, you know, I've been so up and down body image wise for like that year and a half. And after that, I just thought, you know what, like, life's too short. All I'm caring about is my body. And I'm there, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm telling people on Instagram that, you know, I'm in a happy place with my body. I love my body confidence, body positive, all of that. And, you know, if you ask me for advice on body image and exercise and things like that, I could tell you all of the right things. But in myself, I wasn't 100% happy. So then I just started to do way more personal development. I started to put myself in a space and an environment that was really good for me and my mental health. And I also started to set myself non-aesthetic based fitness challenges. So these are fitness challenges that have got absolutely fuck all to do with what I look like, but a lot to do with my performance and constant improvements with my fitness. And my first one of those was a triathlon, and I did that triathlon last year. And I remember when I was at like the start line of the triathlon, and I looked around, and there was all different bodies, all different shapes, sizes, ages, and I was just like, you know, this is health and fitness. This is the place within fitness where I want to be. I want to be in a space where, you know, I'm exercising because it makes me feel good, and because I can gain things from it, and I can gain strength, I can gain health, I can gain happiness. And I want to eat in a way that, you know, I love healthy food, I do. But I also proper love eating, I like eating hearty meals that are not, you know, wouldn't be on your average health and fitness plan. I just love food. So I just wanted to be in this place where I'm at now, where I train to feel good. I set myself these challenges, which are hard, and they push me both mentally and physically, but I grow from them, and I learn a lot from doing them. And also, I'm just in a place where I literally I just eat. And I enjoy what I eat. I can just walk into Pret or to Tesco, grab a sandwich, grab a bag of crisps, get myself a chocolate bar, and I'm just happy. I don't have this calculation in my mind. And one thing I wanted to mention was, along that whole time, well, and not during my eating disorder, but after my eating disorder, I just wanted to get to this place where I loved my body. And there's so much online these days where it's like self-love, you should love your body, you should be body confident, you should accept yourself, blah blah blah. And I thought that accepting myself and loving myself was basically like, if I was to go to an interview, I'd be like, hi, I'm Vic and I love myself. But in reality, that's not it, because I've now got into this place where I'm literally like, I don't think about my body, I don't think about it. There's days where I just haven't even looked in the mirror. But then there's also days where I'm like, I love myself. But yeah, I think body confidence isn't actually just feeling mega confident and telling yourself all the time how much you love your body and being so hyper aware of your body. It's not that. I think body confidence is just getting to a place where you're just at peace with yourself, and you're just so kind of content and happy with where you are. And, you know, if you was to go into a space like on the beach with a bikini on, and you'd feel okay, you'd just be like, okay, yeah, this is me in a bikini, this is my body in a bikini. And I'm so thankful for the past 5 years and the mega journey that I've been on, because it has taught me a hell of a fucking lot, and it's wised me up, it's helped me grow. And I genuinely really wish that everybody who's watching this can get to a space where you are genuinely so happy in yourselves, and you're following a healthy and fit lifestyle which suits you. And yeah, I hope that was kind of interesting. I know I've spoken a lot, it was literally like a word vomit, but my journey hasn't been short. It's definitely not been straightforward. It's been very, very up and down. If you've got any questions about my journey, because I think you guys could benefit more from me doing more of a Q&A on this. So if you've got any questions about like my healthy, like my diet or my training or whatever, pop them in the comments below, and I will do a kind of additional one to this about just answering your questions. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that helped, and yeah, goodbye. Yeah, please hit like if you liked it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more. Thank you.